Hey guys, what's up? Going to be doing the disassembly and maintenance and also checking to see if they're good springs and or if upgraded springs are going to help my Civivi Baby Banter too. Let's get it. All right, got the mat out here. We are definitely going to be doing the disassembly and maintenance on this particular guy. I have no idea what to expect with this one. I haven't touched it. I did grab a couple of heavy springs here, heavy Omega springs. I'm hoping that if they don't have them on here, it may help with the very underwhelming feel of this particular one. Now, I will admit, when I threw those springs on my bug out, it did make a difference. It definitely helped the feel of that one. I do have tools and everything linked down below, a disassembly mat. I do link the circuit board cleaning Q-tips that I use down below as well. So if you need any of that or you see anything that I use here today, I should have all that linked down below. I do believe everything is T8 except for the pocket clip. So I am using my Bit driver to take off the pocket clip screws first, and then I will switch to my Bit instead of my dedicated tool. That's all steel. So this is a T8 Torx bit driver that I use to do that part of the disassembly. Again, I don't know what to expect here, so I'm going to start by trying to remove the non-show side or the pocket clip side. And then I'm hoping, like Kaiser, that everything is captive and there's no issues with the disassembly and maintenance of this one. So definitely a lot of thread locker on that pivot, 100%. Throw that over there. Let's get the scale off and have a look-see. Let me grab one and pull it out. I'm going to say I'm not certain that the bug out style Omega springs, they might all be the same for all I know, but I don't know that these are thicker or stronger. They are the same size. Let's pop one off and just feel the tension on it and feel what it feels like. Oh, that feels like a lightweight spring. I'm definitely going to say that these are, if I can get them to sit still, they might be close to the same size. But what I'm having a hard time telling is if the steel ones that I have are stronger or not. They may be. I honestly can't tell. But you can tell from here, the pivot is not captive and the spring is not adjustable. So that is all something to take into consideration. You're probably asking yourself, how do you finish this disassembly? We're getting ready to get into that. They did include a lot of lube here, guys, for the aluminum. It feels like and looks like it's nice, clean, clear lube, so I'm not too concerned with that. The backspacer will help with this disassembly. It does not appear that the barrels are captive from the outside, but that is a little deceptive and a little hard to see. So I am going to go ahead and just close this up, and I am going to try to remove the remaining hardware. Oh, they made that a T6. Okay. I guess that makes sense since the pocket clip is a T6. All right, so yeah, it is spinning on the other side. So unlike Kaiser, they do not offer a captive barrel. That would have been huge money good, but being it is what it is, just do not over tighten these when you reassemble them, and you should be golden. The last thing that's going to be kind of tricky here is you're going to want to kind of, oops, I'm pulling the wrong thing. That's what happens when you're upside down. You're going to want to remove the pivot Just slide that right on out, and then you should be able to lift the aluminum scale right off of there. And then the backspacer should keep everything in place as far as the rest of the knife. The stop pin tried to slide out of there. I'm not going to try to take the stop pin out, but I do want to remove the Omega spring. Yeah, I don't know that the aftermarket Omega springs are going to be hugely stronger, if I'm honest with you. I also don't think they're the right size. It does feel like it's a little bit more stiff. I say let's go ahead and put them together. If I really don't feel a huge difference, then I'm not going to worry too much about it. Wow, none of this stuff is captive. That is also disappointing. So I am going to go ahead, clean everything, and put my own lube on it. I'm a little just disappointed, guys. I was hoping Civivi usually does really good fit and finish. What I would have liked to have seen is a dual-sided D-shaped pivot, just to keep the pivot from moving instead of having to use the scale. I would have also liked to see D-shaped, or at the very least D-shaped right here where it goes through the backspacer on the standoffs, but you're not getting any of that from Civivi. So that is a huge advantage from Civivi, from Kaiser, and I believe also CJRB also took note of that and did the same thing. So you have captive standoffs, you have captive pivot, and all of that makes the assembly so easy to do on this particular knife. On a crossbar locking knife, sorry, not this particular knife. So I'm going to go ahead and clean the rest of this up. I'm going to throw my own lube on there. And we'll put this mess back together. I guess we'll just check the springs. Let's just see if they make a difference at all. If they don't, I will just take it all back apart and start over. All right, so we're going to go ahead and let's start with the backspacer standoffs. Let's go ahead and put this back in place. Oops, not the stop pin, JD. This is the standoff. Grab the stop pin first, my mistake. And grab this one. All right. Grab the standoff. Oops. We'll reinstall the stop pin. And then we'll go ahead and lube everything that we want to lube. Since there is no detent ball hole, you only really need to lube the things that you want to lube on here. So I'm just going to throw the fresh lube on the washers. Oh no, don't run away. It's sticking to my finger, unfortunately. We'll lay that on that side. Try to keep it clean. And then the next thing I will do here is I'm going to go ahead and reinstall the liners. And then where did my stop pin go? I lost my stop pin. Let's just check. I'm just curious to see if these are even going to fit. That's the wrong side. Let's see here. Ooh, I went too far to the inside. Nope, these are too... Yeah, the hooks are too big. So not going to be able to use those, guys. We got to stick with the factory springs. So from here, what I recommend is reinstalling the factory spring. Yeah, it is night and day difference there. I also recommend throwing a little bit of lube on your springs just because of the friction that they deal with. Oh, the stop pin popped out. That's okay. I'm going to get the other Omega spring on first. Trying to do this on camera so you can see me, but it's a struggle to do this on camera so that you can see me. Oop, I missed. So there is a specific spot that those go into, just in case you didn't realize that. All right, that is in place. I'm going to go ahead and hope that that stays, and I think I'll be able to accomplish that by putting the outer scale on. That is the wrong side, JD. And then what I'll do is with this in, push the stop pin through, and I think the scale will keep it from going through the other side. And then I'm using the backspacer to kind of hold the liners open. What I'm going to do, is throw the blade on. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to do the pivot. My bad, guys. So using the thumb to leverage back here and holding the blade, I am going to slide the lock back, and then I'm going to push the pin through, and it's a little challenging to show this on camera, but once you've done that, everything will settle down into place. So I just kind of push the pins back a little bit to keep that from moving around too much. So I am going to do my best to throw a little lube on the Omega springs, and from here it should be fairly easy assembly. Actually, before I put that on, let's throw these guys back in. All right, so we need our T8. We definitely don't want to over tighten that. The reason I say that is because I can feel the standoff standing out through the other side of the internal liner. That's the pocket clip screw. I can tell because the head on it is flat. This is the standoff screw. All right, so it is spinning on me. I'm going to try to pinch. There we go. Tighten it down. I didn't over tighten that one. And then we will try to do the same thing with the filler tab. Yeah, I can definitely feel it standing out. All the steel sticking to the magnet. I was going to say I can feel it standing out here, so I'm going to try to pinch and tighten that down. Let me just double check this one. All right, that feels good. I'm going to pull back on the lock bar upside down so it doesn't swing closed, and I'm going to adjust the pivot, and that is all the way through now. And now that I know that it's facing in the right direction and I heard it fall into place, I'm finally ready to reinstall this side as well. All right, and we're just going to do that just to keep any of this steel, if it scratches, from corroding. And that's the only reason for that. Go ahead and install. Oh my gosh, I missed a washer. Where did that washer come from? Please tell me it's from this side, guys. All right, let's try that again. What a disaster that was. I will have skipped ahead to save you guys the pain and anguish that I just went through reinstalling this. All right. Oh, let me do it this way because I definitely don't want the blade to fall on my hand for any reason. All right. That feels good. Nice and snug. Do the same thing with this. A little hard with the oily fingers. Everything is spinning around on me. This is where the captive standoffs and the captive pivot that I mentioned would be super handy with the disassembly and reassembly because you can focus on one side at a time and not have to deal with things moving around on you, etc. So really hard to demonstrate what I'm doing here. There we go. It's snug. Let me try to dry my hands off and dry the handle off and the backspacer off. All right, now with everything installed, what I'm going to do again is try to demonstrate upside down, slightly angled, rotating the pivot and pushing that in so that it's fully in. All right, now that that is in place, I got to reinstall my Omega spring. Still got lube on it though. So that is a positive. All right. Come on now, guy. It's so small, I'm struggling with getting it to kind of fasten. There we go. Fastened. Locked into place. It's a little dry, so I'm going to drop just a little bit more lube. On there. And then just a little in between the scale and the liner. Just like I said, just a light coat. Doesn't need anything heavy. Now we can finish reassembling this bad boy. I'm going to go ahead and start with that pivot screw. All right. Go ahead and I'm missing a screw. I think that's the pocket clip screw. I think that's the standoff screw. Look like a T6. And once we'll do this, we'll check for blade play, lock rock. Maybe there's some mini bug out Omega springs that'll work, or something with a little. It's the problem is the notch on that Omega spring is too big, so it's just jumping around. Oh, hello there, friend. Now you can jump out at me. All right, I'm not going to tighten that one. I just want that to stay in place. Doing this for your viewing pleasure so that you can really see what I'm doing in there. All right, that one we can tighten down now. That one we can tighten down now. No play. Needs to be backed out. All right, there you go, guys. Unfortunately, the same Omega springs that typically go for your full-size bug out have too big of an opening hole, so they're not going to work on these. Again, I did double check to see if they came with any extra springs, to see if maybe they're different size or weight or anything like that, and unfortunately no luck with that at all. Disassembly on this one, more complex than it needs to be. I really think Civivi should probably grab a bear from Civivi, from Kaiser, and check that out. I think that that would be really insightful for them on what they can do for the simplicity of a crossbar lock if they're going to be doing more of these. I'd be more than happy to talk with someone at Civivi to explain what I'm talking about, but making the ends or the center captive D-shaped, and then the hole on the backspacer D-shaped will keep the entire thing from moving around when you're trying to tighten or loosen it from one side, really making it easy to take apart, because then you can just lift everything off of here, take it off, and then flip it over and know that this is not going to move because that D-shaped standoff is going to be locked in with your backspacer. And then same thing with your barrel. You'll be able to I know they like to do the C here, but in this instance I'd probably say make it so that it's unscrewable from both sides, and just make it so that it's captive on the ends for this particular design. I hope this helped you guys. At the very least, I hope you were entertained while I was struggling with taking this apart and putting it back together. If you enjoyed the video, a like would be appreciated. I will have affiliate links down below if you are interested in picking up a Civivi or any other knife that I have an affiliate link for. And when you use those links, it helps the channel. A special thanks and shout out to my channel members out there. Your loyal support goes a long way in also supporting this channel, and I definitely couldn't do this without all of your support. Definitely consider subscribing if you're not subscribed. I'm out of here, guys. I'll catch you all on the next one. I hope you have a great week. Peace.